So the first thing we're going to want to do is peel our carrots for the 3 vegetable mirepoix that we're going to use for the soup. We're going to need to dice up the onion and chop up the carrots and celery quite fine. This is getting blended, so again, it doesn't matter as much, but you do want it to cook evenly as you're preparing the vegetables for the soup. So just make sure to dice up the onion medium sized, not too fine, but also not too big, just about the same size as the carrots and the celery. Add 3 cloves of garlic to the mix of vegetables, and you want to chop it quite fine. The vegetables have a ton of water, so you don't have to worry about the garlic burning. Add enough neutral tasting oil to cover the bottom of a pot, my choice is grapeseed, and add in your vegetables. Cook for 2 to 3 minutes, stirring frequently. We just want to get the vegetables a little bit softened up before we proceed to the next ingredient. Now we're going to add some tomato paste. I like to add quite a lot because this is a big batch of soup, and it is one of the most important characteristics in terms of the flavor of the actual soup itself. At this point, we're going to leave the pot for a little while. We just wanted to develop some browning on the bottom of it so that we can then scrape it off, add it to the soup, and then it'll give it a very nice depth of flavor. After the browning has developed, we're going to add in some chicken stock to deglaze the bottom of the pot. This will release all the brown bits from the bottom of the pot and have it dissolve into the soup. Be sure to stir quite frequently or else it will stick very badly and it will be burned, and then that'll in turn lead to the soup having a very awful, bitter, burned flavor, so just don't leave it alone. Monitor it and stir it as much as you can. Next, we are going to add enough chicken stock to cover the entirety of the pot. After all the chicken stock has been added in, we're going to throw in our lentils. Bring the soup up to a boil and cook it until the lentils are soft all the way through. For me, it took about 45 minutes. Once the lentils are all the way cooked, we're going to add it into a blender little by little. Because this is a hot liquid, we want to be careful with blending this, so make sure to not add too much. Blend at a low speed and then work your way up slowly until the soup is smooth all the way through. Don't forget to season the soup with salt, pepper, cayenne, and paprika to taste. Once you've blended all of the soup, pour back into a container and store in the refrigerator for a week. Onto the curry. For it, we're going to need mushrooms first, specifically white button mushrooms, but to be honest, you can use any mushrooms you like. These are just the ones I personally enjoy most. We're going to start off by taking the caps off of them and by cleaning them with a brush. Make sure to get the insides as well as the outsides so that they are completely clean through and through. Next, we're going to chop them up by slicing them in half and then slicing them all the way through. Now we're going to heat up 2 to 3 tablespoons of neutral tasting oil and throw in some carrots, onions, and our mushrooms that we have previously chopped up. Stir this often and cook until the vegetables start to brown slightly. While that's cooking, we're going to prepare the rest of our vegetables. We're going to start off with our broccoli, and we're just going to cut little pieces from the stem. For the really big chunks, we're going to quarter them, and for the medium-sized chunks, we're just going to half them. Now that our broccoli is prepared, we're going to go check on our vegetables, and as we can see, the water has released from them and they have softened up quite a bit. Now we're going to add that broccoli into the same pot. Stir the broccoli until it is evenly distributed among the vegetables in the pot. Next, we're going to chop up our eggplant. For that, we're going to need 2 or 3 eggplants, just enough to be proportionate with all the other vegetables in the pot, and we're going to cut it roughly the same size as we did the zucchini and the broccoli. I like to cut it 3 or 4 times vertically, and then just turn it and chop it horizontally. Once all of your eggplant is chopped up, we're going to put it in the same bowl as we did with the previous vegetables and throw it inside our pot. Each time we add any vegetables, be sure to add some oil to it just so that nothing sticks to the bottom of the pot. Next, we're going to chop up some zucchini. First, we're going to top and tail it, which means cut the top and the bottom off of the zucchini, and then we're just going to cut it vertically 2 or 3 times depending on the thickness of your zucchini, and then we're just going to run through horizontally with the knife just like we did with the eggplant. Afterwards, we're going to put it into the same pot as all the other vegetables and once again stir it around. Lastly, we're going to chop up a red bell pepper, so just chop it all around with your knife and try to get as much of that white stuff on the inside out as possible. The next thing we're going to do is cut it into strips and then turn it and cut it once more to get red bell pepper squares that we're then going to throw into the pot along with all of the other vegetables. Next, we're going to add in our curry powder. I like to add about 3 or 4 tablespoons, but you can add as much as you like depending on your own taste. The final step is now adding the crushed tomatoes. I'm using cento crushed tomatoes, but you can use any crushed tomatoes that you like. Just make sure to stir it evenly so that all the tomatoes get incorporated with the vegetables, and just simmer that on low for about 5 minutes. And now we're going to plate. I like to put down 2 or 3 heaping spoons of rice on half of the plate and put the vegetable curry on the other half of the plate. I'm using sushi rice, but you can use any rice that you like. If you did everything right, you should have a healthy and cheap meal for you for about a week. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and see you next time.